同学们好，今天我们要说一说第11课的语法。第11课是感谢和感激。感谢和感激。In this lesson, there are two grammar points. The first one is we are talking about 被动句, passive sentences, and the second one is comparing 把 sentence structure and the 被动句被 sentence structure. So let's start. 被动句 passive sentences. The passive sense in Chinese is similar to English. In Chinese, however, the passive sense sentence commonly occurs in the following structures. There are two different structures. The first one is the unmarked structure. Second one is marked. Marked means to marked by the 被. Okay. So the first one, unmarked in structure, notional passive sense. It usually occurs as a topic common sentence. So you might be thinking, what does that mean, topic common sentence? So here is some examples. Topic common sentence. 饭 pen color 饭 oops 好，饭做好了。饭 is the topic. The meal. 做好了 is the common. It's done. So the meal is ready. That's the translation. Another example, 作业. The topic of the sentence is a short sentence. 作业 is assignment. 作业写完了. 写完了 is the comment, commenting on what about the assignment. It is written, it is finished. So homework is finished or assignment is finished. Next one, 钱 money. 花光了. 花 means to spend time or money. 花 also means flower, but here we're using it as a verb. 花光了. So remember last year, the first lesson we learned about resultative complement. 花光 is one of those, right? Just like 做好写完. 花光, 光 means empty or gone. 光 also means light, but here means it's all spent. There's nothing left. So the money is all spent. 信 mail or letter. Letter 寄出去了. 寄 means to send, to mail. 出去 means out. So the letter has been mailed out. Okay, so here for these examples here, you can see there is no 被 because we are talking about unmarked. Okay, unmarked structure for passive sense. Okay. Alright, 换你试试. Give one topic common sentence example. And it's gonna be in passive sense. Okay. So you can pause there and do it or come back to do it after you finish watching the video. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is the marked in structure with 被叫 or 让. 被叫让, they means the same thing here. They are just a marker to mark the passive sense. And later on, we're going to talk about these two because they have other meanings unlike 被. 被 only has one meaning. It's just a marker similar to 把 to mark the structure of the sentence. 叫, however, and 让, they have their own meaning. 叫 by itself means to be called or to call, right? 让 means to let, to allow, to give someone permission to do something. Here, we're using it in a passive sense, and there are some requirements when you use these two, and we're going to talk about that. Okay, so when you use 被叫 or 让 in a sentence, It is commonly known as the passive construction. The passive construction is illustrated below. So here are our examples. 我的镜子. So here I want you to write down something for me. What is the base structure look like? 我的镜子 is an object. 被 so object 被室友 subject action doer. So object is the action receiver. 给打破了. So here you can see 给. It's in parentheses, and 给 is optional when you use 被 as a passive sense marker. 给 here does not mean to give anymore. It's just a grammatical word. Okay, so if you don't have 给, let's say if I take out this 给, so 我的镜子被室友打破了. My mirror was broken by my roommate. Without 给, the sentence is correct. And if you say 我的镜子被室友给打破了, it's also correct. And the meaning does not change. Let's talk about what I'm saying with 被 switching with 叫 or 让. So here you can also use it. You can also say 我的镜子叫室友给打破了. If you use 叫 or if you use 让室友给打破了. If you use these two 叫 or 让 as a passive sense marker, you have to use 给. 给 is no longer optional. It's just because 叫 and 让 has other meanings, and if you don't have 给 mark in the sentence, then it's gonna be confusing sometimes, because remember, 叫 also means to call. So in the sentence might sound like my mirror is calling roommate. Ooh, that's a little bit weird, right? Like a ghost story. 让 also means to let or to allow someone do something, to give permission for someone to do something. So without 给, if you take out 给 here, then it would sound like my mirror is allowing my roommate and broken. It doesn't make sense at all. So please write down your own notes here. When you use 叫 or 让 as a passive sense or passive sentence marker, and you have to use 给. 给 is no longer optional. Okay, 给 is no longer optional. So that's very important. Alright, moving on. If you finish writing down your notes, you can pause video anytime if you need to. Another tip here is the doer, which is subject, is required when using the marker 叫 and 让, but is optional when using the marker 被. 叫 and 让, it's more like a colloquial way to use passive sense. Personally, I use 被 way more often than 叫 and 让. It's just because 叫 and 让 has a lot of requirement, right? You have to have 给 and you have to have a subject. So let's see some examples here. Oops, go back a little bit. Example, 我的新车 object, right? My new car. 被老王撞坏了. 老王 is someone, last name is Wang, and the person is older than you, so you call the person 老王. My new car was crashed by 老王. So here when you use 被, the action doer, the subject, is optional. So you can say 我的新车被撞坏了. Grammatically, it's correct. My new car was crashed by someone. It's not important. You're just talking about the fact. It's damaged. Okay. So subject It's not required when you use 被. It's just the focus is different. But when you use 叫 or 让 in the sentence, first is here 叫. First is you have to have 给. Second is you have to have an action doer. 我的新车叫老王给撞坏了. So meaning is the same. And 叫 here you can switch with 让. They means exactly the same thing. 我的新车让老王给撞坏了. Okay. Another thing here is the characteristics we're going to talk about. There are 7 of them, I believe. So the first one, the doer, the subject, is usually introduced or implied. 2 sentences. 他被老王打了. It sounds like 老王 is a bad person, right? 他被老王打了. He was hit or struck by 老王. So this is the doer here. Or I can say 他被人打了. He was hit by somebody, beat up by somebody. 人 just means people. So here in the sentence, who did it, it's not that important. It's just talking about the fact he was beaten up. 2. The second characteristics of the structure. It commonly occurs in a narrative sentence to describe how something has happened to the object. For example, 镜子被打破了. Mirror has been broken. Emphasize that what has happened to the mirror is the result of someone's action. Maybe a dog, a cat, a person. We don't know, okay? It has been broken by somebody. Compared to the other one here, 镜子打破了. There's no 被 in the structure. Communicates the resulting fact that the mirror is broken. So see the difference here. If you kind of not quite understand what I'm talking about, I recommend you read this sentences and then go back to the explanation there in the English part. The third one, the doer of the action can be animate or inanimate. For example, the first one, 房子被坏人烧光了. 房子, the house. 坏人 means bad people, bad guy. 坏人. 烧 means to burn. 光 again. Remember 花光 all spent. It's empty, it's gone. So 烧光 means just burned down into ashes. There's nothing left. So the house was burned down by bad people. Second one, so 坏人 is animated. 房子被火 fire 烧光了. The house was burned down by fire. So 火 could also be an action doer. Okay, so the subject doesn't have to be a person. Okay, so now I want you to give examples of those 2 things, different kind of action doers, and these 2 doesn't have to be the like the examples that I provided. There are some that kind of like related about like house burned down and the fire burned the house. It doesn't have to be that way. I just want to see if you can find examples of those 2, animate doer and inanimate doer. Okay. Next page is the characteristic number 4. The 被 construction is often used to convey a sense of unhappiness, loss, surprise, or helpless. So sentences here are all very sad. Okay. First one, when the doer is unknown. 我的钱被偷了. So when it's unknown, you know there is no subject here. Okay, my money was stolen by whom I don't know. It's just not there anymore. Next one, to convey something unfortunate or unpleasant that has happened to the receiver. Here is a puppy. 小狗 that's the object, right? The receiver is 小狗。小狗被车撞死了。Very sad. The dog was killed by a car. So definitely unpleasant, right? Next one is to suggest surprise or astonishment. 这件事情怎么会 So 这件事情 is the object, and 怎么会 is how come it would 被他知道。知道 means know, right? So how could he know about this matter? We didn't tell anybody. How could he know? So here is just surprise. Okay, number 5. Almost there. There are 2 more or 1 more. To negate the 被 construction 没有 very important. 没有 is placed before 被. Before 被. There is no 了 used in the sentence. Another thing is no 了. So here I'm crossing 了 out. 我的钱没有被偷. My money was not stolen. It was actually in my wallet. I didn't see it. Okay, so 没有被. So 2 points when you're making your 被 construction negative. First is put 没有 before 被. Second is you have to check if you add 了 at the end. Take it out. All right, give me one example of a negation,被 structure. Number 6. Oops, sorry. 6. The 被 construction cannot be used in a command except the negative imperative particle 不要 or 别 which means don't add it. For example, 不要被他骗了，别被他骗了。骗 means to cheat or to fool somebody. Don't be fooled by him. 不要被他骗了，别被他骗了。Okay. Give me an example. Start with 不要被 or 别被. Okay, so start with either 不要被 or 别被. Either way, either one. The next one, the last one here for the first section. Though the passive sense in Chinese is similar to English, some English passive sentences cannot be translated with the 被 passive construction. So here are 2 examples. First one, this book was written by Lao She, which is a famous Chinese author. A sentence of this type should be translated as 这本书是老舍写的, using the 是的 pattern to emphasize that it is Lao She who wrote the book. 这本书是老舍写的. I don't know if you remember that we learned things like it was in America that I learned Chinese. 我是在美国学中文的. Or it was at home that she called me. 是在家她打电话给我的. Okay. Second one. Typo here. Your check. Your check has been received. A sentence of this type should be translated as, not using the base structure. 你的支票收到了. Use a topic common to convey the passive sense. Okay, 你的支票 is the topic. 收到了 is the common. Alright, so that's the first section. The base structure. The second one is we are going to compare 被 and 把，被字句和把字句的比较。So those two are often mentioned together for comparison. The similarities and differences between 把 and 被 sentences can be summarized as follows. So let's take a look. First one. Both 被 and 把 sentences indicate the notion of disposal. That is, they indicate that an action has some influence on objects. So important here. Again, an action has some influence on the object. 2. The subject and object are in different positions in the two types of sentences. You can see subject and objects, they are kind of flipped. And I would recommend, if memorizing both will kind of confuse you, then choose one to memorize and you know the other one is the opposite. So here is an example. 妈妈把我的车子卖了. Mom sold my car. Second one. 我的车子被妈妈卖了. My car was sold by my mom. Okay. 3. 把 and 被 sentences can be switched to provide a change in emphasis. 4. 被 sentences usually convey a sense of unpleasant situation. 把 sentences do not do that kind of function. For example, in the example above, 我的车子被妈妈卖了. My car was sold by my mom. The use of 被 here implied that your car being sold by your mom was not a happy thing. Maybe you thought when you come back in town to visit, you can still drive it to go hang out with your friend, but your mom thinks no one's gonna drive it when you go to school in a different state. Why not just sell it? So she sold it without really asking you, and you're not happy about that. So you should, in that kind of situation, you should use the base structure. 5. 把 is commonly used with comments, but 被 is not. So please associate 把 structure with comments. For example, 把碗洗了. 碗 is the bowl. Here is just dishes in general. So wash the dishes. 把碗洗了. And here you can see the subject is omitted because when you are giving a command, normally you don't have to give a subject because when you are talking to the person, it's commanding the person to do what you are saying. So give your own example here. Number 6. Almost there. This is the last one. Perceptual verbs such as 听见, 看见, and 知道 cannot be used with 把, but may be used with base sentences. For example, 我昨天翘课. 翘课 means ditching classes. 被老师看见了. So the translation should be, you figured it out. We'll talk about it in class, so you can write it here. 我昨天翘课被老师看见了. So here in the sentence, you can use 被, but you cannot say 老师把我昨天翘课看见了. No, you can't say that. Okay, just because of the verb 看见 here, the perceptual verb. Alright, here is your time to show if you understand the 被 and 把 and 被. So here is a very simple exercise. You are just switching the sentence, rewrite them from a 把 structure to 被 or 被 structure to 把. Okay, there are 4 of them. And please make sure you know the meanings of the sentence. Alright, that's it for now. 再见.